Okay, this is battle report between Chaos Demons, played by myself, Rupert Reed, and I am playing my brother Alex Reed, who is using Chaos Dwarfs. This is the first battle report that I've done, so please bear with me if there's any issues with the volume of the audio, etc. Okay, so first photo shows my deployment. In my army, you can see from the top as a Blood Crusher. Just beyond that, there's 5 Furies, and back coming down this way, there's a Fiend next to the Blood Crusher. Okay, then the first block that you can see in orange is a unit of Bloodletters in Horde formation, full command, 35 models. And then the next unit down in between the 2 units of Bloodletters is another unit of 5 Furies. On the hill you see the second unit of Bloodletters, again 35 models, full command. Behind the Bloodletters, the blue models spread out in 2 ranks is a unit of 20 Pink Horrors with full command. There's also a Tzeentch Herald in there on Master of Sorcery Fire. He's rolled Fireball and Flaming Sword of Ruin. And then towards at the bottom of the picture, you have a Fiend and a Blood Crusher, and then behind that, Great Unclean One, who is on Bale Sword and Noxious Vapors. Okay, so this is the next photo. This is the Chaos Dwarf deployment. Again, going from the top, you've got a Hell Cannon. And then next down, we have 2 Magma Cannons sitting behind a unit of Infernal Guard with great weapons. In that unit of Infernal Guard is a level 4 on Hachette and a BSB. Okay, a bit further down, we have a Death Shrieker behind the building. In between the Death Shrieker and the lower of the 2 Magma Cannons is a hero level Chaos Dwarf who is on Metal Magic, and he has rolled the spell which gives you 5+ Scaly Skin armor save. Glittering Robes, I think that's called. Okay, and then we have further towards the bottom of the photo, there's a second unit of Infernal Guard. Both these units of Infernal Guard are around just under 30 models, I think, 28, 27. There's no characters in the lower unit of Infernal Guard. There's also another Death Shrieker behind there. And then just right at the very bottom you can see one model on its own in undercoated black, which is another hero level sorcerer who is on Fire Magic and has Fireball spell. Okay, so that's the deployment. As you can see, the Chaos Dwarfs have castled up in the corner. My plan is to basically get into combat as quickly as possible so that I don't get shot off by all the war machines, especially worried about the Death Shriekers firing at the Great Unclean One, and obviously the level 4 with the Flames levels, the number 6 spell, the big large template. That can also cause some problems. I believe it has to take a toughness test, the model in the centre, or it dies outright, something like that. Again, it's the first time, or it's about the 3rd or 4th battle me and my brother have played with him using Chaos Dwarf, so we're still sort of learning the rules. So again, apologies if I get any rules wrong for the Chaos Dwarfs. Okay, so this is the end of turn 1 for both players. Alex, the Chaos Dwarfs, has won the role to go first. He has leveled his 1 unit of his Chaos Dwarf Infernal Guard with the level 4, so they're parallel with the board edge, as you can see. Other than that, virtually nothing else has moved, and he shot both Death Shrieker cannons at my Great Unclean One. Neither of them are hit, despite having rerolls from the level 1 sorcerers on the scatter dice. Also, you can see one of the magma cannons has disappeared. That's due to a misfire, so really
the War Machine's not doing very well at all. I, on the other hand, have basically just moved up as fast as I can, trying to get engage in combat. You can see the 2 Bloodlet units at the top of the picture, one of the Fiends and a unit of 5 Furies all have moved up. I think I lost 6 models off the back of one of the Bloodletter units from, I think, the magma cannon that still remains. Here you can see end of turn 1 from my perspective. You can see, as I previously mentioned, I've just moved all the units up. You can see as well the nearer unit of Bloodletters has lost some models off the back, which is from the magma cannon. Otherwise, everything's just moved up, and the Fiend that was at the far right has moved more into the centre. You can see we're near the end, towards the end of the tape measure. Also, you'll see a card there in front of the unit of Infernal Guard with the level 4 in. That is the gives them hatred. Alex put that on that unit. I think he rolled low on the Winter Magic and just decided to do that just in case. It's a remains in play spell, so at least they've got that on there. I have to dispel it if nothing else. Again, is another shot, just showing the positions after turn 1. This is after the end of turn 2 for both players. You can see the remains in play spell. The card is still there in front of that unit of Infernal Guard. I think they have reformed slightly. They're looking a bit narrower but slightly deeper. Probably an expectation of one of the Bloodletter units coming in. On the far right, you can see the Great Unclean One and the Blood Crusher have both got into combat with the unit of Infernal Guard on the right with no characters in it. Again, I think both Death Shriekers missed when trying to get the Great Unclean One, which allowed him to get into combat. I think he's lost 1 wound at this point, so he's down to 9 wounds. He may have lost that in combat, I can't exactly remember. The Blood Crusher also has lost 1 wound, but that combat was I think the Chaos Demons won, but as they're steadfast, the Infernal Guard stayed where they are. Everything else is generally moved up. The blue horrors at the bottom of the screen. They have moved up slightly further to get within 24-inch range, so you can use Flaming Sword on units, or alternatively Fireball, going for maybe the lower powered ones if I roll lower dice than I need in order to cast the top powered one, which is a range of 48 inches. Other than that, everything else has just moved up. You can see the 1 unit of Furies at the top left there have moved right around the flank, hoping to get into one of the War Machines. And again, really just sort of getting into position to try and get the Bloodletter units in combat. Okay, here you can see a close-up of the Greater Demon of Nurgle, Great Unclean One, and the Blood Crusher in combat with that unit of Infernal Guard. Both units of Infernal Guard have got great weapons, so obviously my character's going first and basically chopping a few off the back, but not really doing enough to, winning the combat, but due to the fact it's got more ranks than I have, it's on steadfast, so it's a leadership 9 test. I think actually the BSB's out of range here, so it's been quite lucky and managed to keep them there anyway without the reroll. Here you can see this is the end of turn 3. You can see at the bottom of the screen, first of all, the Blood Crusher is dead, but the Great Unclean One is down to 7 wounds, but has taken off the unit of Infernal Guard. This is with the help of that nearest unit of Bloodletters, who came in and clipped on the end and just helped with doing a few extra wounds, rank bonus, BSB and standard. And they fled, I think, in the end, and the Great Unclean One ran them down. Also, that caused a panic test, and the level 1 fire Chaos Dwarf Sorcerer who was at the bottom of the screen previously, he ran off the board. You can also see that there's a Fiend there who's got in combat with the Death Shrieker that was there, and killed it. The other Death Shrieker as well, I think it misfired. Alex has been very unlucky with his War Machines during this game, up to this point, and doesn't look like they're going to do much else with the Furies obviously engaged in the magma cannon in the middle of the screen. You can also see the other unit of Bloodletters have at the top of the screen there have lost a few models off the back now, almost down to 2 ranks, but are in combat with the Hell Cannon. The Hell Cannon, unfortunately, is quite good in combat and is managing to hold its own there, taking models off while still staying in place, not losing too many wounds at the same time. Should have mentioned before, we are playing Sheffield Slaughter comp here, preparation for tournament, and which means that the upper unit of Bloodletters there don't have a herald in them, as you're only allowed to have 0 to 3 Bloodletter units and Heralds of Khorne. So we've only got 1 Herald of Khorne who's in the bottom unit, who's also the BSB. So no hatred on that upper unit, which is causing an issue with obviously killing it because I don't getting the rerolls. Here you can see the Bloodletter unit in combat with the Hell Cannon. At the moment there's only 1 crew member left, and I think it's taken a wound on the actual machine itself. You can also see the Furies in combat with the Magma Cannon, which has taken a wound, and the second unit of Infernal Guard there with all the characters in is probably going to engage the Bloodletter unit shortly. This is the end of turn 4, I believe. Here you can see that the Bloodletter unit that was in combat with the Hell Cannon is now destroyed. I think that Infernal Guard unit also got in combat, and here you can see Alex just reforming them to face the Great Unclean One, which is just behind his hand. Also, you can see the Bloodletter unit has now come round to try and get in combat with the Infernal Guard unit there and the Hell Cannon. Here you can see the same photo without Alex's hand in the way. You can see that the Infernal Guard have reformed after getting in combat with the destroyed unit of Bloodletters to face the Great Unclean One, who is bearing down behind Alex's enemy line, behind the enemy lines. Again, here's another shot from the Chaos Dwarf table edge of the same situation. There you can see also a card next to the Hell Cannon and the Infernal Guard, which I believe is the Glittering Rose. So they've got 5+ Scaly Skin save, so that's giving the Hell Cannon a 2-up armor save at the moment. And I believe that's also the same for the Infernal Guard. Okay, so this is a turn later. You can see the Hell Cannon now is on 1 wound left, indicated by that red dice. The Hell Cannon went and charged into a unit of Furies that I had moved out of the way, and it was quite a long charge. It managed to get in, destroyed them straight away, and then went tried to overrun into a second unit of Furies that was at the back of the board, but luckily didn't get there. So the Bloodletters went for a charge into the flank of the Hell Cannon, made it. They've then had Flaming Sword cast on them, which is that magic card you can see there. And I believe they make short work of the Hell Cannon shortly after this photo was taken. Here you can see a not very good quality photo of the Great Unclean One in combat with the Infernal Guard unit that has the characters in it. You can see the larger black blob towards the back of the unit. That is the level 4 who has been challenged and declined by the Great Unclean One, leaving the Great Unclean One to fight the unit. The BSB is off to the left hand side as we're looking. So the Great Unclean was not in combat with him, so it's having to go against the unit. 4 attacks with the Bell Sword against normal warriors is killing on average 2 a turn, and then Thunder Stomp I think I was rolling about 3 on average each turn, so he's doing about 5 wounds a turn, so not too bad really, and not really taking too much damage in return. I think he was taking 3 or 4 wounds one turn and then none the next, so just holding in there. Really needs the bloodletters to come back and just help finish off that combat. But I think by this point, even if the Great Unclean One went down, the Chaos Demon player myself is in a position where I'm winning the game and going to win. Here you can see the same situation, same turn from a different angle. You see the bloodletters in combat with the Hell Cannon. Horrors at the bottom of the screen, they're just moving up to make sure that they're in range to cast flaming sword, which they have done on the bloodletters. You can see the Fiend with 2 wounds left is just hiding behind the building there, so he doesn't. I think he got direct. He did the level 4 did a direct damage Hashut spell, which means he rolled 2 dice minus the target's toughness, and then the result, that many wounds are caused on a 4+. He took a wound, so I've just moved him behind the building so he's out of the way, can't be killed. Okay, this is turn 5, I believe. As you can see, the bloodletters made after finishing off the Hell Cannon, reformed to face the rear of the Infernal Guard in combat with the Great Unclean One. Then had to make a rather long charge. I think I needed a 10 on 2 dice and rolled it, so they went straight into the back. This is basically where the game finished. The Herald with BSB, who's on the far right of the unit, attacked the level 4 who'd been pushed to the back of the unit after being challenged out by the Great Unclean One. 3 attacks. I think I got 1 killing blow, and he failed his 5-up ward and killed the level 4. So that's sort of 400 or 500 points there. Really puts the game completely out of Alex's hand, and ended up with it being a 20-0. Here you can see the final positions at the end of the game. To be fair, I think with the previous game we played, I got blown off the board by all Alex's war machines. This game, we performed excellently in this game. It was the complete opposite. The war machines completely failed to work. Magma Cannon and a Death Shriek both blew themselves up. Both Death Shriekers failed to hit the Great Unclean One in 2 turns of firing. Alex rolled low on the magic, so couldn't get the number 6 Hashut spell off against the Great Unclean One either, allowing him to get into combat where he could no longer be targeted by the war machines. But after that, obviously the demons are fairly good in combat, more than a match for the Infernal Guard. And despite losing 1 unit of bloodletters, they managed to chop their way through the rest of the units. The chaff units of mine going through the remaining war machines in combat as well, which they don't really have a problem in handling. Probably the best model in the Chaos Dwarf army in this game was the Hell Cannon. Again, it's always done quite well because it's just so good in combat. It's not just a war machine, it's obviously a monster with handlers, or that's how it's treated in the game in terms of rules as well. And it's just can be quite brutal in combat, and obviously it's effectively a stone thrower or decent stone thrower as well. So it's a good model again, performing well, taking off the bloodletter unit of Furies, and generally causing me quite a few problems. Okay, so that's the end of the battle report. I hope it sounded okay and I didn't make too many mistakes in the telling of it. And hopefully have another one up at some point shortly. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.